name's Andy Brown. I'm one of the biology teachers here. Cat Boyle's at the back there as well, who will also be helping us in this session. We're going to run through really some of the ICT resources that some of your kids will be using day in, day out at school. And we'll try and give you a chance as well to kind of get on some of the computers and have a go and see what they use and see some of the resources that we use pretty much day in, day out, as I said, on each of these computers. So really here we go with our aims to provide parents with an opportunity to try out some of the most widely used online resources in the school, to make you aware really of the wide range of online material available for your pupils, for your kids at home. We'll look a lot at the website, the school website, and actually there is loads more than just sort of news bulletins on the school website. There are a whole load of resources that are really, really useful for your kids. And as well, we're going to try and get a bit of use out of the iPads that we're using. Now, I'll talk a bit about the iPads later, but it's still sort of a new thing for us to be using the iPads in classes. And a lot of your kids probably will not have used them in class yet. So it's one of those things that we're learning at the minute, along with them, how to use effectively in the classroom. But we'll give you a chance to have a play around and see some of the apps and things that they're using at the moment. We haven't got too long, so I'll kind of whiz through a few slides and then, as quickly as we can, get you on some of the computers for a go yourself. So it says here, pupils are encouraged to make use of a wide range of online resources, both at home and in class. We place a high value really in using ICT in the classroom, technology that kids are far further ahead than we are as teachers. So we really place a high value. It's what they'll be using day in, day out when they go to the workplace after school. So getting them to use it hands-on in class and at home is really, really important. There's a number of really useful websites that hopefully you've got. Has everyone got one of these little booklets handed to you? Now you've got a list of loads of different websites for various different subjects. I'll be probably speaking more on my experience of science websites and things that we use on the website, the school website and the science department. But there are loads of different websites and resources on that little booklet for you. So do take that home and do have a little look through that. And maybe a bit later on have a look at some of those websites when we get on the computers. The most useful website, as I said, is the school website. And I'll log on to that in a second and let you have a look through. Now, the home page is full of sort of news bulletins, little snippets of what's going on. But there is many different links that you can go onto that your kids will be using in school and can use at home. So if I just quickly click on there, should have got one of these pens. There we go. So this is the school website. You can click on things like departments. I'm just going to flick onto the science department. And there is a whole load of different things that you can look at here. Things like the Twitter feeds. Now, we'll talk about Twitter in a minute. There's a whole school Twitter feed. A lot of the departments in the school have their own Twitter addresses as well that you can follow, and you can follow. You can get loads of links and ideas on. Mainly in higher school, I know in biology, and the S5s and the S6s follow it quite often because it gives them lots of study tips, especially when it gets to exam time. Give them hints and tips on things to help them structure their study, which is really, really useful for them, just because it's something that they'll be using all the time. So it's got a whole load of information. We've got loads of different links and science on the side here, different posts, things like websites that link to certain topics that we're doing at the minute. So if anyone's struggling with homework, if anyone's struggling with an assignment, there is always really useful links on here on this website. And it's worth them having a really good explore. In S1 and S2, they're obviously doing various different topics, sort of whole school science with one teacher. You can click on certain topics, and actually there's revision material and notes that they can link to, and they can even download and read at home. Now, more often than not, they'll get these resources in school, but really so they've got no excuse not to do that, haven't they? So there's Word documents, there's loads of different resources here for them, and it will be the same for every different department. I'm just speaking from my experience in science, but there is loads of different resources on here. So if I go back to my PowerPoint, there we are. So that's the school website down there. You've got that link in your little booklets there, but obviously if you Google it, it's very easy to find. We've got the various different ones. So there's the chemistry department website. There is the maths, English, but one for every department on there. Okay, as well we've got the school Twitter feed. That again is written on the back of your little booklets. So Feel free, if you have a Twitter account, to follow that, sign up. It gives you news about what's happening in the school. But you will also find links to various different departments as well. So there's biology, there's science. I'm sure there's other ones. ICT will have their own Twitter feeds on there as well. As I said, iPads. We have a whole set of iPads, a class set of iPads, which are still quite new to us, as I mentioned before. So we have new links, we have new apps on here. I'm sure loads of you have iPads at home that you're using regularly. I'm sure the kids are using them regularly. But it's a really good tool. It's something that they're very familiar with, but with really useful apps that they can use for certain subjects. We use it in biology to look at things like DNA, cell structure, and things like that. Now, there are, without doubt, I'm sure, loads and loads of really good revision apps, activity apps that your kids will find really useful to use. There are thousands, if not millions, of apps out there, and I won't start trying to narrow it down. Really, if you're after good apps, I would just try Googling them, to be honest, and finding reviews on good apps that help with revision, that help with study, that help with certain topics that maybe your kids are struggling with. And getting Google to maybe narrow it down just from some reviews. Loads of them will be free, but they will be really, really useful. Most of these are free, but we use them regularly in my class.